Hello, my name is Brett Spence and this is part 2 of my Boshin War video. Enjoy. The Boshin War began on January 3rd, 1868 when Choshu and Satsuma troops captured the imperial palace in Kyoto, and this enabled the Emperor Meiji to declare his own restoration to full power. With Tokugawa Yoshinobu rejecting the imperial restoration on the 17th of January and pro-imperial samurai burning down the outer workings of Edo Castle, and in retaliation shogunate troops destroyed the Edo residence of the daimyo of the Satsuma clan, with the residents destroyed. Many pro-imperials who used it as a base to cause trouble for the shogun under the direction of Saigo Takamori. Many pro-imperials were killed or executed when the shogunate troops attacked the residence. The shogun sent 15,000 men to crush the pro-imperials in Kyoto. On January 27th, as they were moving down the Toba and Fushimi roads, on the Toba road the first shots of the Boshin War began when Satsuma artillery opened fire, which caused the shogunate troops to panic, and when the Satsuma troops attacked, the shogunate troops were routed, and as they retreated, the shogunate troops set fire to nearby houses. On the Fushimi Road, the shogunate troops fought an indecisive engagement against the Satsuma Choshu force on the Bungo Bridge. The next day, Ieyasu Toyomi gave Saigo and Okabu Toshimi orders from the emperor that the shogun and his followers were to be enemies of the imperial court, and allowed the Satsuma and Choshu troops to use the imperial brocade banners. In addition, Imperial Prince Yoshikari was named Commander-in-Chief of the army, which turned the Satsuma Choshu forces into the Imperial Army, which made the shogunate troops uncomfortable due to firing on them would automatically make them traitors to the emperor. But that morning, shogunate troops at Fushimi were attacked by Satsuma and Choshu troops, and they retreated to Yodo Castle. When shogunate troops regrouped at Toramori, and on January 29th, Satsuma troops attacked them in the morning. But at noon, the imperial banner was raised behind the Satsuma Choshu lines, where neither side recognized the strange banner, so messengers had to be sent to tell the two sides what the banner was, which boosted the morale of the Satsuma Choshu forces and confused the shogunate forces. The imperial forces charged, and despite the shogunate troops attempting a counterattack, they were forced to retreat to Nosho near Yodo Castle, and the shogunate troops tried to regroup at Yodo Castle, but the daimyo refused to let them in, and the shogunate troops were defeated and retreated back to Osaka Castle. Tokugawa Yoshinobu, who was at Osaka Castle, gathered his advisors on strategy and bolstering the morale of the shogunate troops, but that evening he got on the shogunate steam-powered frigate Kaiomaru, accompanied by the daimyos of Aizu and Kayana, and headed back to Edo on January 30th. When the shogunate forces heard that the shogun had abandoned them, the shogunate forces at Osaka Castle surrendered to the imperials. The imperials, led by Saigo Takamori, marched towards Edo with 3,000 men from Satsuma, Choshu, and Tosa. On their march, they faced 300 shogunate troops at Kyushu Katsuma, led by Toro Ishimi, which the imperials defeated, which lowered the morale of the shogunate troops in Edo. The imperials surrounded Edo, which lasted from May to July, and Katsu Kaishu, the shogunate army minister, negotiated the surrender of the city to the imperials, but the imperials wanted an unconditional surrender of the shogunate forces. But on July 4th, 2,000 shogunate troops refused to surrender and took positions at Endo's Kanji Temple, where Tokugawa Yoshinobu was in self-imposed confinement there, and the imperials crushed them, and on the 3rd of September, Emperor Meiji moved the imperial capital from Kyoto to Edo, which was renamed Tokyo, which means Eastern Capital, in which brought the end of the shogunate. But in the north of Japan, Inomoto Takei, 5 French officers led by Jules Bernett, along with various pro-shogunate aristocratic families, formed the Northern Alliance in the dominions of Nagaoka, Aizu, Sendai, Yonezama, and Shonal. The Imperial Army marched north to face the Northern Alliance, where the Imperials defeated the Northern Alliance as they moved further north. On the 6th of October to the 6th of November, the Imperials faced the Northern Alliance at the Battle of Aizu, where 15,000 men from the Imperial Army faced 5,000 men from the Northern Alliance, and after a long fight, the Imperials defeated the Northern Alliance, and the remaining Northern Alliance forces fled to Hokkaido, where Inomoto Takei proclaimed the Republic of Izu on January 27, 1869, with himself as president. The Republic of Izu's government structure was based on the United States. Voting was limited to the samurai class and was through an open ballot. The Republic's military was organized and Commander-in-Chief Otori Kisugi and Julius Burnett, where troops were divided into 4 brigades, each commanded by a French officer, who were Arthur Thornton, Jacques Marlin, A.D. Consendovi, and Francis Buford. Minamoto tried to obtain international recognition or support, but without success due to the fact that the Imperials were winning the war and the Western powers had no interest in supporting a lost cause. It also didn't help them that the Imperials abandoned their anti-foreign stance in April 1868, which increased foreign support for the Imperials. On the 20th of March 1869, an Imperial naval squadron led by Japan's first ironclad, Kotetsu, which was the flagship of the Imperial Navy, reached the harbor of Mikayo in Awate Prefecture. On April 9th, 7,000 Imperial troops landed near Akaide, and the Republican troops resisted the Imperials with great courage for several weeks around the fortress of Benten Daiba and the star fortress Goyokaru, which both fortresses had 800 men garrisons. The Aizu Navy tried to gain naval superiority, but only sunk 1 steam warship, and the Etsu Navy suffered heavy losses. After heavily bombarding Republican defenses, Burnett and other French officers escaped on a French warship at Akode Bay. On the 27th of June, after a fierce hand-to-hand combat, the Gokayu fortress fell to the Imperials, and after losing half of his men, Minamoto Katari surrendered, ending the Boshin War and 268 years of Tokugawa rule. With the war over, those who fought for the shogun and the shogun himself were pardoned and were allowed to serve in the government, army, and navy. If you like this video, like and subscribe. See you next time.